Our next speaker is Michel Fivet from the University of Canterbury, and I think we'd all have to agree that if there's any part of the country that understands disruption, it's people who lived in Canterbury over the last 4 years. So Michel is going to talk to us about the story that he brings us from the Learning Resources team, and it's really focusing the theme of his talk on how do you help teams cope with disruption. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Michel Fivet.
Good morning, everyone. Basically, I'll try and share our story with you, and it's basically about disaster, disruption, and recovery. Oops, going back. Or how constructive styles are helping you seize recovery post-earthquake. So I'm not going to go into great depth into all the effects because these effects are well known. The earthquakes happened, and there's also been some subsequent effects of hundreds of aftershocks. The impact on UC was quite big. Our infrastructure was very badly damaged. But damage wasn't only on an infrastructure level, it also had an impact on human costs. Stress, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, which impacts directly on sick leave. We had difficulty retaining staff and also recruiting new staff into the organization. And as a consequence of the infrastructure and also the bad publicity, we've lost quite a bit of students. We're recovering now, we're in a recovering phase. I also have to point out that most of these issues are still with us today. Research has indicated that up to 4 years after a major event, the impact on staff remain substantial. So this is a bit of the background information I've provided you with. So what I'd like to do is provide you a bit of anecdotal evidence and share my own experiences that suggest that some managers were more successful in managing staff in this post-earthquake environment than others. So that basically leads me to the following hypothesis. Teams who are led by constructive managers are able to come adversity faster than non-constructive managers. So I'll try to prove this, the hypothesis, by looking at the LSI2 results of the managers of 4 specific teams. Now, these 4 managers are all within the learning resources environment, and these teams represent about 450 staff. So the first manager is predominantly aggressive defensive. His or her primary and secondary styles are perfectionism and power. The manager of team 2 is constructive. Primary and secondary styles are self-actualizing and achievement. The managers of team number 3, originally the manager in this environment was highly aggressive with the primary competitive style, secondary power style in the 90th percentile, so quite outspoken, aggressive style. In 2012, that manager resigned and got replaced by a new manager who was quite blue, humanistic, encouraging, 82 percentile, and affiliative. And lastly, the manager of team number 4, again, constructive manager. What we did was we decided to look at a number of factors and see how the teams performed in these areas. The first is organizational commitment, and organizational commitment is defined basically as the emotional connection a staff member has with this organization, looking at stress, job security or job insecurity, empowerment, and also the role of a leader. Another aspect is employment relations, sick leave, and performance-related bonuses. So we'll have a quick look on how each of these teams performed. So when we look at organizational commitment, we see that team 1, which was led by the aggressive defensive manager, this is the score. Team 2, led by a blue manager, Team 3, led by a red manager. At this stage, the red manager, the one who's in the 90th percentile, is still leading this team. So the results were from a voice survey in 2012. And lastly, Team 4, which is again managed by a blue manager. So you can clearly see that both the blue managers outperform the two red managers. Next, we look at ER issues, and we basically look at the percentage of staff who have ER issues of some sort. So this is Team 1. This is Team 2, Team 3, and Team 4. So what we notice here is that both constructive managers are consistently lower than the aggressive defensive managers. But what we also notice is that at the point where the new manager, the blue manager, comes in, the percentage of ER issues drop significantly. Sick leave, hours per month per staff. This is again the red team, blue team, so that's Team 2, Team 3, and Team 4. And again, we notice the impact of the new manager is almost immediate. Two constructive managers, again, consistently display lower levels of sick leave than the other managers. And if you look at the same data and look at the costs per year per staff, then we see that the Team 1 average at about, let's say, $1,500 per staff per year. Team 2 averages $300. Team 3, Team 4. That's quite significant because if you look, for instance, at 2014, the average cost per year per staff in Team 2 was about $300, and for Team 1, it's about $1,400 more expensive. So if you look at bigger teams, the costs can go up into the hundreds of thousands. I've also explored bonuses, looking at performance-related bonuses. So what I looked at is bonuses that were only awarded for continuous meritorious performance, and these bonuses were heavily scrutinized by the Vice-Chancellor himself. So it's not the manager who decided to hand out these bonuses. These were actually authorized by the Vice-Chancellor, and they're directly linked to performance. Team 1, led by the aggressive defensive manager. Team 2, Team 3, and this is Team 4. Again, what we notice is that the constructive managers, the teams of the constructive managers, outperform the others. The effect of the new manager in this case was not as impressive. Lastly, I looked at EAPUs, and there was no data available for each area. So I looked at the general EAPUs for learning resources as a whole over the last 5 years. And these are the results. They're nice colors. They don't tell me anything. So now a bit of a summarizing. The benefits of constructive styles. When you look at average bonuses and rewards per staff per annum, a constructive manager, or the people working for a constructive manager, on average get about 197% more bonuses than non-constructive managers. Average organizational commitment is 15% higher. Average sick leave per staff per annum is 62% lower. Average ER issues per staff per annum is 173% lower. that is significant. And everyone who works in the HR field knows that the time we spend dealing with staff and ER issues is significant, and it's quite costly for any organization. So this leads me to the conclusion that following adversity, teams led by constructive managers outperform teams led by non-constructive managers. So they are able to, in adversity, get the performance of their teams back faster to pre-earthquake levels in this case. But when we talk about adversity, we not only talk about adversity as earthquake, but you can also talk about adversity as economic downturn or other events. And the second point, conclusion, is that they display higher levels of organizational commitment. And that is also directly correlated to performance. That's quite impressive. So the point I'm trying to make is that a constructive style is beneficial for any organization. For UC in particular, having managers that are blue, that are constructive, is actually crucial for our rebuild, because they will get us to a higher level of performance faster, and they will help us shape and build our future and create a UC that is a place of choice, that is an exciting place to study and to work. And this is the future that we're working towards. These are architectural drawings, impressions, of what UC will be, like. Thank you.